Hi everyone and welcome to 1/6 Figure Focus, and you're very welcome to episode number 45 of the Visions series of live streams. Series of live streams dedicated to every single episode I sit down with a different collector or member of the 1/6 scale community and discuss the past, the present and the future of their collecting journey. This next man, I've only streamed it a handful of times, but I've streamed with him. I was lucky enough to stream him on the Ben Thomas show a few weeks back, and I will be streaming with him later on tonight on the Ben Thomas show. So I'm just going to bring this guy in, a fellow YouTuber, content creator, and collector as well. Jay, FEEZY Figures, how you doing?
Good, sir. What's up, Chad? What's up, all? Hope you're all doing well.
We got 19 people in the chat already. That's good going. And yeah, so there's a few channel members, a few troopers, commanders, and subscribers. And they're kind of chiming in to say hello. So thanks very much for being here on this Sunday evening or afternoon, or is it morning for you?
Yeah, still morning, 11 a.m. here on the West
11
Coast.
a.m. And you're West Coast in California there, yeah?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Good stuff, good stuff. I met Calvin. Calvin's West Coast as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
Low-key collector?
SoCal, yeah.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting him over at Star Wars Celebration. Hopefully I'll meet him again in Japan. I think I got a feeling the crew is going to be bigger for Japan. I'm really looking forward to it. You ever been to Japan?
I have not. That's on my my to-go list, my bucket list. To go to
Same,
Japan.
it's on my bucket list
Japan.
as well. I've never been. I've heard it's amazing, but expensive.
Yeah, I know, right? And crowded. Well, certain
2 years
parts.
to save. 2 years to
Yeah.
save.
Yeah.
Well, look, before we get into this, I'm just going to address the chat really quickly and acknowledge the people who have taken the time out of the day to join us here, and also go through some basic housekeeping. So we got I see a few channel members in the chat. We got Michael, 12-inch Moose Dream is here. Of course, FEEZY Figures. Jay is warming up the crowd here. We got Payden23, another channel member. We've got Phil, Empire Strikes Again. Quick question for Phil. I meant to reach out to you on Instagram. You are UK based, which means you're in the same time zone. I noticed you're here a lot. If you plan on being here for the whole stream, could you please let me know, and I will make you a mod if that's okay with you. Phil is always in the chat there, and a strong supporter of the channel. We got, who else do we have here? We got KS as well, Yo Shane, we got Yomo here as well, we got Philip the Fool, channel member as well. We have Stephen with a V, I believe.
Yeah.
Just correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen with a V. Evil Sneaker, I streamed with him on Collector's Joey stream the other day. We got the most sarcastic man in the 1/6 scale community. We got Shiny. I love the dubstep remix with the Sit team, just as John Williams dreamed it to be. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, I need to actually credit that because I found it's copyright free, and I found it on YouTube, so I need to put that up and credit it in my default settings. We got Lancelot's Nerd Corner. Every time I see Lancelot's Nerd Corner, I think about Tommy Shelby. Tommy Shelby there behind me. He was when I was doing my research on the figure, his was one of the reviews I went to.
Okay.
Have you seen Oppenheimer?
I have not yet. No, I've been hearing good things, but I'm still hesitant because, I don't know if it's worse. It's like one of those movies where you can see it at home or in theaters, mostly like drama type scenario, but I don't know. What do you think?
I'm very biased because it's Chris Nolan.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I think his movies are best seen on IMAX. I think it's put it this way.
Okay.
Over the last few months and even years, I was getting a bit tired of the cinema's expensive, and I was getting a bit tired about paying X amount of money on tickets and paying X amount of money for popcorn, all that kind of stuff. You could be talking $50 if you're going with someone else, and then leaving and kind of going, that was only okay. I left the cinema last night very, very satisfied. 3 hours, heavy going, a lot of dialogue, but just a fantastic piece of cinema. And Cillian Murphy, I am biased because he's one of our own, amazing in it. I highly recommend it. Go to the cinema on this one if you can get the chance.
Yeah, I'm kind of going to the IMAX. If I were to go see it, definitely I would want to see it in IMAX because I know he likes using the IMAX cameras.
Yeah.
But again, going back to, like you said, a lot of dialogue, right? So that's kind of the things I'm kind of a little hesitant on, right? The picture's bigger, but am I going to be sitting there like watching people huge just talking up like, what do you mean that's not the answer? I just mean it's just but on a bigger screen type of thing. So that whole thing. That's just me personally. So
there are some the sound engineering I really liked in it, and there's some like with his, there's a lot of vast open cinematography and landscape kind of cinematography, and of course they test the bomb, which is not a spoiler obviously, but that's there as well.
It's like spoiling Titanic.
All right, yeah. So we got live streams, not a live stream without King Ding-a-Ling. We're just talking about him. Calvin Low Key Collector is here.
Calvin.
Phil, would you mind typing in is your, I just need your to make your mod, I need your Instagram handle. Is it @ and then the _ Empire Strikes? I think it is, but just let us know and I'll adjust that. Joker J, great to see you. Blue Tattoo is here as well.
Blue.
Is this
my boy Blue?
Beskar Kid who has changed his changed. See what he's doing. I'm not reading that. Yeah. Yeah. You got me. X-Men Supreme is here. We got Universal Key. What is up? We got Mike in the building as well. Good stuff. Mike, you might Mike's a mod. Mike, you might try right clicking on someone's comment and just seeing if you have the option to delete, block, or I'm not asking you to delete or block anyone, Mike. Everyone's behaving themselves, but just maybe right click on someone's name in the chat, whatever device you're on, and just check if it gives you a bunch of options there and let us know. I really would appreciate that. Mark Mitchell, channel member. Tremble Dust is in the building. God, I got a lot of people in here. I got 27 in here. Good stuff.
What's up, Tremble?
Excellent. We're kind of up to date here now. Brilliant. All right. Really quickly, I just want to inform you of a 3K giveaway. Now, look, we're not at 3K. We're not close to 3K yet. We're at we're about 2,238 or something like that, in and around that. But Ian, aka H and Silver Fox, has very kindly donated a brand new inbox. Civil War, Captain America Civil War Winter Soldier, which is one of the best Winter Soldiers out there. I've heard a lot of people saying he was gradually nerfed as the time went by, but I would agree definitely that the older ones are better with the mask and the long hair and stuff like that. But very, very kindly has donated this brand new inbox Civil War Winter Soldier. So how it's going to work is obviously it's open to all subscribers, and what we're going to do is if and when I'm lucky enough to hit 3K, I don't know when that'll be. It could be weeks, could be months, could be years. But if and when that happens, we will give you notice, and there will be a live stream, and you'll have to be in the live stream, and we'll ask a question, and the first person to give the correct answer the quickest, that's how we're going to do it. And that person will be the recipient of a brand new inbox Civil War Winter Soldier. So massive thank you to Ian. So shout out to all the troopers and commanders that keep the lights on. So the members, we got the troopers, we got Mugwump, Stephen Rinks, Mike who's in the building, Mike the Mod, Payton23, Chuli, Bendu Windu, Ryan Smith, and then a commanders tier we've got Tragedy Tales, Alan the 6 Scale Gallery, X-Man Supreme, 12-inch Moose Stream, who's also in the chat, Philip the Fool's in the chat, Keith the 6 Scale Padawan, Mark Mitchell, I believe I saw there earlier on, Payton23 as well, William Owens, Brandon Salad, The Empire Strikes Again, who's Phil, who's in the chat collecting weekly, and Boba Fettuccini. New videos on the channel, my thoughts on classic. No one cared about this, there was like 38 views. We got a space, our biggest challenge, just a few tips for managing space that might be absolute nonsense to you, but look, maybe there might be a tip or two in there that you might find useful. My thoughts on the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man, and just a funny skit I did today. Instead of doing speculation or predictions for this time of the year for Toy Fair exclusives, I'm going through a bunch of stuff that we will not get. So it's a bit of fun. There's some nice music in there as well if you want to check that out. I think we're up to date. Oh, this is the last one now. Upcoming streams, episode 10 of The Hope Show will be live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, or midday West Coast. So that's up to date. Now we're going to throw this man straight into the deep end here. We're going to put him under a bit of pressure here and get some information from him. All right. Yep, you've been sonic charged. So right. First thing straight away. If you could magically, right, just snap your fingers and like make 3 figures that have been announced that are up for pre-order, that do exist, snap them into existence and just have them appear in front of you right now. What were the 3 figures that you're most anticipating, basically? What would they be?
Ooh, I would have to say Dead Strange.
All right.
From Multiverse of Madness. Obi-Wan Vader. Let me see here. What
Great choice. 2 great choices.
Why, thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm trying to think of what else. I'm trying to blank here. Let me see. I think I got my list. Quick peruse. I guess I don't know if this counts because this was already released, but Cad Bane. I don't have mine yet. I have it on pre-order, but yeah, that's a figure I was looking forward to for a while. So
3 great choices, very, very strong. All going to be stunning, I'd imagine. I've got the. I wasn't a fan of the Multiverse of Madness, but I do have the other 2 on pre-order. I actually Cad Bane is shipped, so that should be arriving in during the week. And that Vader is, that is just absolutely stunning.
It is, yeah. Fire.
And Tremble Dust has chimed in with Doc Ock, fantastic choice, Mark III and Hobo Goblin, and we're very similar tastes because I have the 3 of them on pre-order as well, and they're ones I'm hyped about. That Mark III 2.0 is or 3.0, I think, at this stage, absolutely stunning. So, Jay,
yes, sir.
We're going to start off and we're going to talk about the past. Well, more so, you're going to talk and we're going to listen. This show works better if the guest is talking 75% of the time.
Yeah.
So what I want to know is we're going to start off with the past of your collecting journey. I want you to go back to that first time you actually found 1/6 scale. Maybe that was 1/6 scale Sideshow. Maybe it was Hot Toys. Maybe it was third party, but 1/6 scale in general. We'd all like to find out what was your first ever how did you find out about Hot Toys? What was your first ever you pre-ordered? What was the first one you got in hand? Were you collecting anything else at the time? What stage of your collecting journey were you at, or your life? Were you collecting other things? I noticed you have different scales behind you. So how did you get sucked into the 1/6 scale world? Just tell us how it all started.
Yeah, so like most collectors, I think, as you mentioned, 1/12 scale is where I started. And that started mainly during the pandemic, right? Like most other people. So that's when it really took off. I, like everybody else, I was like, what can I do, while I'm indoors and looking for things that I've been meaning to catch up on. And I never had, I realized I never had an Optimus Prime figure or toy. And for some reason, I never got into it in the 80s. And even the toys back then, I was more into Ninja Turtles, He-Man, Thundercats, things like that, kid of the 80s. And so those are the ones I had. And actually, I brought some stuff for show and tell, Mr. Shane, Mr. Focus. So speaking of He-Man, I was, I think in my, I've always been a collector at heart, right? So it's just even the toys that I had, I ended up keeping some of them. And some of them I sold. There's a point in my life where I was more focused on the money, mostly the teenage years, right, as we all kind of transition. So I try to get some money that way. But there's some figures that I still have, and I kept them till this day. So for instance, I mentioned He-Man. Here is the original He-Man I had. He's a little dirty. Excuse his beard there. But
I'll put you full screen. Is this the original, say, from the 80s?
Yep, yes, sir. As you can tell, it's discolored. He has that squishable head. I try to clean him up as best as I could, but he's a little dirty. But yeah, this guy I've held on to since my childhood.
Right.
And that guy, I mentioned Ninja Turtles. I ended up selling the Turtles. That was one of the ones I sold. But I have Casey Jones here from this.
Casey Jones, what a character! What a character!
Yeah, still got some of the whatchamacallit, his weapons here, or his sporting equipment. And then one I actually just found today, I forgot I had. This was more from the 90s. I think you'll appreciate this one because I think we're both fans of this. Tell me if you recognize this person.
Definitely. And you know what's mad about him? I still remember the ad on TV where they were marketing these. And even as a kid, it struck me as bizarre the way... We called it when a movie was like, you know, an adult movie in Ireland, like when kids weren't supposed to be watching it. I know adult movie means something very different these days. We wouldn't call it R-rated. We'd call it was 18s, because we had like 18s, we had 15s, and then we had PG-12 or whatever. I think that eventually changed to PG-13. But I think he called them like R-rated for, you know, the movies that only adults are supposed to be watching.
Right.
But Terminator 2 was an extremely violent, like adult, like R-rated movie, or 18s. But yet they were marketing these essentially toys to kids. I thought that was bizarre, like, you know. But I remember the ad on TV going, yeah, they look pretty damn cool. So that's thanks very much for showing you, dialing the clock back and give us some FEEZY history. So got some shout outs there in the chat. Phil at the Empire Strikes says FEEZY Figs was fundamental in getting my IG account back off the ground after I was hacked. Do you want to tell us a bit about that, or what happened there?
Yeah, I haven't. This is the first time I'm hearing about it, but no, I had no idea, man. Thanks for sharing that. I'm glad I was able to help. Someone that's like unbeknownst to me. If you did and I forgot, I apologize. But I don't think he mentioned this. But yeah, I'm glad to hear you came back on it. Empire Strikes, because you got some good photos there, so that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. Much love.
I missed out on meeting Phil in person in a Star Wars Celebration because of Wi-Fi issues and trying to. It's funny. It's like the Wi-Fi in the place didn't work, but then like even if you had data, whatever way the building is made, it was like the signal, you had no signal, so it was like very hard to meet people. FEEZY Chem Parody absolutely did. Past equals nostalgia, absolutely allowed nostalgia. It's just, I think I've ruined some words for the 6-scale community by doing those silly videos, like, but it's right though, like nostalgia matters. Nostalgia is what brings
that's
most
what
of us
sells
here. Very cool, FEEZY, absolutely. Still have the original Master of the Universe here, He-Man. Good stuff. Excellent. Man. So so you brought stuff for show and tell. So like, can you still remember your first ever 1/6 scale? Was it a hot toy or?
Yeah. So sorry, going back to that. I just wanted to show, like, you know, I was collecting stuff for a while. I still had, and so then going back to the pandemic, I started with Transformers here, right? So you can see all these. Right, I started with those. I started with Optimus, and then, you know, the collector mentality, right? Okay, well, I have Optimus, I might as well get some companion pieces. And, you know, shortly after, bam, I got, you know, most of the ones that I wanted, and that was when the more or less the War for Cybertron Netflix series came out, and that was, which I enjoyed. So, so I got those, and then from there, it just sprawled out to, you know, okay, what else have I, you know? Then I started thinking, okay, what else did I miss out on in my childhood that I would like to have now that I'm older and I have money, right? You know, that's kind of the thought we all have. Then I went into Marvel Legends, Black Series, and I just discovered this whole community, you know, like some of you watching and part of the community as well. You know, that's how it came up. So 112, I have a variety of 112 lines and figures, you know, that were interest to me that I liked. And let's see, and then I came across Hot Toys or 1/6 scale figures, and I'm like, you know what, that's too much money to spend on a figure, right? That's what we initially tell ourselves. I can't see myself.
That's cute.
Yeah, I know, right? I can't ever see myself buying something that expensive. And then I started watching videos. I think others have shared this too. They started just watching, you know, window shopping on YouTube, right? Just watching videos. And like, man, those are cool. Those are really cool. I was like, maybe if I just get one. If I were to get one, I need to get one that really calls to me, one that like I really connect with, that I really like. And the first figure I bought ended up being this Scarlet Spider here.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Exclusive. Yeah,
from the VGM series.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's the first one I got, and it was, man. For those who have this figure, they know this is a great figure. The suit, the articulation especially is what sold me, because I've seen videos on it, and it has really similar articulation to like a figure or a really well articulated Marvel Legends. Yeah. And that's the part that I was a little hesitant on. I'm like, yeah, these figures are more for show. You can't really pose them that well, but this is one of the ones that had great articulation, kind of similar to Miles, right? To Enter the Spider-Verse Miles. Yeah,
or even figures like the homemade suit, because you know, it sweats, like, you know,
yeah. You got the butterfly joints, the toe pivot, ankle articulation. It's just, I was sold, and all the accessories it comes with. So that was my first 1/12 figure that I bought straight, like right off the bat. Purchase was already in stock, and so I bought it. And then from there, I, of course, again, started looking at others. I'm like, okay, this is one. I ripped the Band-Aid right off. So
that's how it goes. It sounds familiar.
Right? Exactly. And then, so the first figures I pre-ordered, I think they were close to each other. They just happened to release or announce Boba on Throne and Iron Man Mark 1. And I pre-ordered both of those. And it was kind of a nice moment when I finally got those in, because those were the first figures that I pre-ordered, and I finally got them in. Boba obviously coming first, and then the Mark 1 came in. And so it was really like, wow, it's already come full circle. It's already been, like a couple of years since I had pre-ordered those figures and I got them in. And so, and then my collection's expanded from there. But I still tried to pick, the select ones, like most people say, just kind of stick with ones that connect to you, that, mean something to you, and, something that you really want.
That's, you could just clip and gift that, because it's they're doing so much lately that, like, I personally think it's impossible to get everything.
Yep.
Like, even if I had like an absolute warehouse or mansion with unlimited funds, I still don't think I'd want everything, because I'd still feel like I'm just buying things for the sake of it.
Right.
Like, I would always say a few things in the channel, like I'm not a completionist, or like I pass on a lot of things I like to get the things I love, or I don't collect, I curate. And I think that's vital for, I think especially new collectors need to realize, don't get sucked into the hype. Don't, like, just because something looks amazing, you don't necessarily have to get it. There's so many figures out there that look absolutely stunning that unless you particularly love the IP, you could probably go, I'm gonna just not get that. I'm gonna save this money here, keep the dry powder for when they drop an absolute banger in, like, maybe, who knows, maybe they drop a die-cast Terminator 2 endoskeleton, or a Sigourney Weaver Ripley with perfect rooted hair and a power loader, or I don't know, the entire cast of Cheers, whatever you're really, really into that you want to just pick up on, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so the Scarlet Spider was your first one in hand, and did you mention? I know you mentioned a few other was there, but what was your second one in hand?
Oh, my second one in hand. Man, I'll have to get back to you on that one. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a while. I have to, like,
or even like, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be in any particular order or anything like that. I know I'm putting you in the spot here. Maybe like the first few that you got. Remember getting in hand, going, "Wow, these are just like really, this is amazing." Yeah,
I want to say. Damn, what was it? I want to say might have been a Rescue. I think Rescue is the next one I got, and I bought it. Oh, it would no. Okay. It was either that one or Mando, the Beskar Mando, the 1.0.
The first Beskar Mando. Do you get the hover pram and stuff like that?
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And I still got it. Yeah.
Great figure. Great figure.
Is that the 1.0 also?
That's the 1.0. Yeah, I haven't took the plunge with the chromed out one. I may. I'm not sure. I just know that, like, if I was to get the chromed out one, then I think I would pass that one on, and then I know that one's extremely hard to sell at the moment. And also I found that there was too much weathering. I love weathering and battle damage, but I do think there's too much weathering on the stock one. But I see a lot of people who have removed the weathering, and it looks like super shiny and stuff like that. So that's kind of a factor I would I would weigh up as well. But I really like that. When I turn around, like, I don't look at it and go, oh, plastic. There's enough of a shine off it that it actually does look quite good, like, so.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah. When the 2.0 came out, I was like, yeah, that looks nice, but I had the same thoughts, like, I'm, again, going back to, something that sticks with me, and what, to your point, is it a figure that I need or would really like, or can I pass and save for something else? So the 2.0, I was like, that looks awesome. The head sculpt looks great, but I don't need it. I'm content with the 1.0, and the same thought, I can put that money to something else, some other figure or something, or even to, like, pay something that comes up around, in life, a household or bills or something. I don't know. Just, I can go put that money elsewhere, basically.
No, that absolutely. And there's something nice about, like, say, there is something nice when you kind of, you're on a knife edge about something. You know, there's a
Yeah.
character you really like, the figure looks really good, and you're like, yeah, I did like that show, but you're kind of, you know, you're weighing up the pros and the cons because we all have bills to pay and stuff like that, and you're like, if I get rid of this, that's gone, and then if something drops next week, and you know,
Yeah.
there is that kind of, yeah, you have to be logical, I think, and you have to be disciplined at some stage, and it's kind of hard because a lot of the stuff is done to such a high standard that it's very, very difficult to do, you know. Just going to address some of these chats.
Yep, go.
So Phil was saying, yeah, the Wi-Fi was pants. I officially made you a mod, Phil, so if you want to right click someone's comment or something like that and just see if you have those options, please don't kick anyone out just yet, but just in case you know, if you need it, we might call you in. I'm putting a team together, you know.
Yeah.
We got unless FEEZY just carries the figures around with him everywhere, He-Man squishy chewing He-Man
Stress
squishy
reliever,
head.
yeah. The stress ball.
Yeah, true. We got Brian in the building. I believe his name is
Hey.
Brian. I hope I've got that right. I hope
What is
that
up?
tapeworm is okay. He's always complaining about this tapeworm. He's got
Yeah, I think he got better.
it's kind of
today.
one of
He
his
hasn't
things.
posted about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
hope
up,
he's
man?
okay,
What's up,
man.
Brian?
Yeah, I hope he's okay. Philip the Fool, channel member. What an amazing figure to have for first hot toy. I'm a little biased, of course.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I'm saving my dry powder. Things collectors say number 333. You just wanted to hear me say 333 in the Irish way. I'm adding that to the bank. I actually have a Google Keep, and anytime I hear something that gets said multiple times, I do put it in there. I'm guilty myself.
Yeah.
We got Peter, Triple G is here. Thanks very
Hey,
much
what's up,
for joining.
thanks for
And we
coming.
have a channel member, Neilorific, or Nilorific, or I think it's
With
Neilorific.
Neeler, yeah, I'd go with that one.
Neilorific, good stuff. Yeah, that actually rolls off the tongue. Neilorific, thanks very much for becoming a channel member. Just in case people don't know, there is a link that is pinned in the live chat, and it's the link if you want to join, become a trooper or commander. There's 2 different tiers, and there's perks and stuff on the community channel. Commanders get their name. They're like producers. They get their names on the video at the very end of the outro of like the credits of all the videos and all the live streams. So if you're a commander, you'll experience that. So Neilorific, thank you very much for becoming a channel member. Do appreciate that. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You wield it.
Yeah, and Phil, all works fine, Shane. Excellent stuff. Thanks very much, Phil. I do appreciate that. Right, so who did you buy it from? Because this is like there's like, you know, like some people, there's really, really reputable sellers, and then there's some not so reputable sellers, and then there's buy and sell trade groups, and then there's like, you know, if you go straight to Hong Kong, you might get it a bit quicker, and then you've got the source, okay, who are the Hong Kong good resellers, and who's trusted, who's a track record, and you know, it's a minefield. So who did you go with? Like, is your sideshow what, 5 minutes away from you? Or?
No, they're a few hours. They're down south, probably closer to like Calvin, Mario. I'll let you guess. I think you can guess it.
I'm guessing it's sideshow.
No. Oh man,
No?
I thought you were gonna guess. Yeah, no.
Oh, because aren't
was-
sideshow California or?
They are. No, you're right. They are. But this figure, I'm thinking back now. I think I was looking from the States. Well, all the, you know, the common popular ones, and I couldn't find them, and I ended up coming across Toys Wonderland, and that's where they had them in stock for a good price. I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I started, you know, this was like, I think pandemic time, end of 2020, beginning 2021. So I did my research. You know, I'm all about the research. I always make sure I shop around. You know, I know you're good about that too. So I went on Reddit. You know, this is before though I knew about the Facebook communities.
I got you,
and so being the noob collector, I did my basic research, what I could, and people were saying they were reliable. Some slight issues here and there, but nothing bad at that time. And so I bought it, and yeah, they didn't have any issues with that one. And then it had been a while.
They used to be a lot quicker. They used to be a lot quicker, and I think maybe they had scaling issues and among other things, but
yeah, I think so too. Again, pandemic, right? Like not just me, a bunch of other new collectors came in, and they just got big and too big for their own good, I think. But yeah, so then some time went by, and then I was looking again at other figures, and then I completely forgot I bought from Toys of Wonderland. So after I started hearing more about, you know, everything going on, I went back. I'm like, oh damn, I bought that figure from Toys of Wonderland, and you know, I've since then had like you know issues myself, so I won't get into it. But yeah, and so now, you know, I no longer shop with him, but yeah, just
That's a good segue,
you know,
because my next question was like, I'm always curious to find out the journey, as in like, okay, who did you buy your first figure from, and who's your current retailer? Because they're often two different things. You know?
no, for sure, they are.
So
And
who's your current who be your go-to, or would you like kind of just play the field a bit and see what's cheapest or what?
I think at this point I found the ones that are pretty reliable and I go to a lot, and this is the same that what the community says, right? There's of course Sideshow stateside, overseas it's you know, the 1/6 kit, Giant Toy. I feel like I'm missing one.
Did you buy from Toys Buying Agent?
No, I haven't bought from them yet. 1/6 kit.
They're good.
KG Hobby and Pop Culture.
Gotcha.
You know, they've
Pop Culture, yeah.
Yeah, they've all done me no wrong, not yet anyways, and so knock on wood. Those are the ones. Yeah, I search around, look for, you know, who's has the best price.
It's the name of the game.
Yeah,
it's the name of the game. Yeah, I my first two were like the MMS 67 and MMS 68. It was the I think it was one of the first Jokers from the Dark Knight and one of the first Batmans from the Batman Begins style suit that appeared at the start of Dark Knight. And at the time, Sideshow wasn't a thing because they were going back. I want to say Dark Knight came out in 2008, so I think these I got them maybe 2009, 10 at the latest, and I got them on eBay because there was no. You had to get some Hong Kong based eBay seller. Maybe it was Tim Sent. I think it was an old eBay account I was using, but I took a big gap, and then when I re-engaged in like 2017, it was Sideshow. And Sideshow for maybe, I know, 6, 7, 8 figures, and I realized, man, these custom charges are and delivery, because like if you bought from Sideshow, what would it cost you delivery on a standard 6 scale figure? Like
around 20 or $30 in that range.
Yeah, it's going to cost 50 minimum, you know. So for me, and then the customs are just ridiculous, and that's not Sideshow's fault. That is like an agreement with the Irish government and the European Union and stuff like that. They can't control that. So it's funny, like I had to find alternatives to people who give me, you know, good value and free shipping and, you know, good customer service, but help me avoid customs charges as well. I sound like I'm doing something really sketchy, but I'm not.
No, I hear you.
There's something like they bear the cost of the tax or something like that. It's a legit thing, but
I feel for you for all the collectors who have to pay some sort of import charge on anything, right? Just because that's an additional charge. You know, we're fortunate here. I ended up being fortunate to be born in the States, but you know, I can only imagine, man, how much more expensive for everyone who has to pay import taxes, man.
Yeah, it's again, anyone who's if anyone there is in Ireland or the UK, I would highly recommend Lion Rock Toys. Full disclosure, I do reviews for them, and they do offer me particularly good prices. So, like, you know, I'm not going to hide that or anything. I never have. But the advantage, definitely, even if you're just getting their store prices, they factor the price you see on the site is the price you pay. They factored in the shipping onto it. But what the real thing is that you don't get caught for customs, which is a big bloody deal for us, like, you know. So
yeah, man.
Beskar Kid, who's changed his name back, thankfully, he says Tim Sent is the GOAT. So just in case you don't know, Tim Sent is the eBay name for the eBay store for Toys Buying Agent. I've used them before. Fantastic. They actually, did you hear what happened with the in-art Joker products that they were shipping?
Remind me again. I may have, but I don't know.
Basically, and I first-hand experience with this because I have the Rooted 2 pack, but I also ordered the single sculpted, and I went single sculpted on with Toys Buying Agent.
Okay.
And because I'm a sculpted hair kind of guy, I was really worried that the rooted hair wouldn't turn out well. But when I saw rooted hair, I was like, okay, I don't need that sculpted anymore. I'm going to sit on that and sell it then eventually. But they had issues with their suppliers. I think the people that they bought from didn't pay their bills or something like that. But they immediately emailed everyone who had ordered that particular in-art product and said, look, folks, this is after happening. So we're going to give you the choice. You can they handle it straight away. You can take a full refund. You cash back to you. You can take store credit, and whichever one you choose, we're also going to give you like a bunch of codes to use on your future purchase. I was like,
Yeah.
that's why everyone loves you. Like, you know what I mean, like they just
Yeah.
completely, just great customer service. So I completely agree with
And
Beskar
that's
Kid.
Toys Buying Agent.
Yeah,
You said?
Toys Buying
Okay.
Agent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't.
they're
Yeah, I
good,
haven't
they're
had
good.
anything from them yet, but yeah, I'll definitely keep them in mind. But yeah, the customer service is always, a factor as well. I think the ones doing I haven't had that experience with them, but that's good to know that they're also like that. But another one is, I'm sure you've heard Mondo, right? Mondo has great customer service. I think they are setting the example of customer service for their figures, because I had got the She-Ra 1/6 scale figure. I ended up buying it through someone on eBay, brand new. But again, doing research, and there was an issue with the head where the nose was like flat. They had mentioned this, I think, on Mafia's stream. I don't think Mafia had him on there. I think it was Mafia. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. But yeah, the nose was like, there was like a slight dent, but people were reaching out to him, letting him know, and they just sent out replacement heads on their own. Like, you didn't have to do anything. They just sent them out. They're aware of the issue, and they gave everyone replacement heads, just like that. And I was communicating with the guy who was buying from
That's
eBay.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, really cool seller. And I was telling him, hey, do you have this replacement head? Communication on eBay. And he was like, oh, no, I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm like, yeah, they're sending replacements, reach out to them. And he did. And so, yeah, he got the replacement head, and he sent that with the figure that I bought. And so I was fortunate enough to get that. But yeah, that was just awesome that they do that. And they continue to do that. So I think they're leading the way on customer service for that, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's no, that makes sense. It makes a big difference. There's two similar comments here. So Tremble Dust cosigns on Lion Rock. Only thing is that sometimes the stock on their site isn't as big. Fair point. You can always reach out to them as well. They might actually, just because it's not on the site, they might actually get things in and quickly to go out. So maybe if something kind of releases, reach out to them Instagram, say, look, I'm looking to buy this. And X-Man Supreme, that's a kind of a similar comment, all right. So Lancelot's in her corner, customs tax is like the slow knife that cuts the deepest. I think that's a Dark Knight Rises quote, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I believe so. Yeah. Just let me know if I'm right on that. I'm pretty sure. I've never paid anything like VAT from Jazz Inc. dioramas. Are you saying that the VAT is huge on them, or are you saying you've got away with? Because I know you got the Batwing and the Snow Speaker. So
yeah.
if you, I presume he's saying the VAT was very expensive on them. Please let us know, Michael, if we've interpreted that correctly. Ding, ding, ding. 10 points for me.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. It's that time again. 35 people in the chat. Thanks very much for joining us here on this Sunday morning or afternoon or evening. Please, if you haven't done so already, like the video and like the stream, should I say, and subscribe to the channel. Consider becoming a channel member. And of course, I'll just put the banner up here for Feezy. If you get a few more subs, there's 36 of you there. I imagine some of you are subbed to him, but the ones that aren't, please go over and give him a sub as well and help support this channel. So the next question here, I'm going to go to the question bank here, and I'm going to pick one out at random here now.
Okay.
So the question bank.
Shake it around.
All right, so I want to kind of get a good one.
Jumble it up, mix it up.
Okay, I kind of asked you the most anticipated pre-orders question already-ish.
Drum roll.
What are your thoughts? What are your general thoughts on in-art? Like, what's your general thoughts? So, just your overview. Are you pro? Or are you against? There's certain things you've liked, certain things you haven't liked. Just what do you think? What are your thoughts?
I appreciate what they're doing. Again, it's kind of it's going to sound familiar, right? Like, it may be a little too much that I'm willing to spend on a figure, but again, there might be a certain one where I'm like, oh man, that one, I think I'm willing to shell for that one. I was on the fence for the sculpted Joker, and I still am, but I think I'm patient on that. I'll probably wait until probably someone on eBay is selling it for a decent price. I think I've been keeping an eye on it, and they're all marked up still, of course, but I've noticed a lot of people selling them, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think maybe a lot of people maybe FOMO'd into them.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, because it was the newest thing was like the hype, and they're like, oh, well, maybe, this doesn't really seem like the money that I paid for, worth the money that I paid for, and, why did I buy this type of thing? Yeah, so I got you. I think that, I was thinking the same thing. But, I mentioned this in a couple of other streams. Up until recently, I think the 1/6 scale was mostly Hot Toys, right? Like, they were I don't want to say the king, but they were, they're well known. They were up there, they were, everyone knew who they were in the community. And that was basically the only option to go to, right? That was licensed. Yeah, there's third party, and maybe they weren't as great. Some of them were, some of them are, but recently they're starting to pick up. So what I'm trying to say is there wasn't really much of a variety, right, of what you wanted. Whereas in the 12 scale, another reason why I still collect 12 scales, because there's a lot of a variety. There's I don't say any, but a lot of IPs that you can think of that it's made in 12 scale, licensed or unlicensed, right? And so, In Art comes and they introduce another tier, right? Another, again, the premium line, as the premium line, which I think is awesome, right? It gives options. Yeah, Hot Toys did the Joker as well, and now In Art's doing it, but I think it's starting to introduce a new line, right, for collectors who want to follow that route, who want that premium tier option. Again, going back to Mondo did something similar by introducing 1/6 scale figures that are more based on animated, cartoon type of comic figures, right? So that's another type of option that 1/6 collectors have. I always think back, I compare it to, again, 1/12. We have different manufacturers, brands that focus on different things. You have Mezco that focuses on, they're like mini Hot Toys, right? They have clothing, tailored suits, and a lot of accessories. You have, there's Revoltech, Amazing Yamaguchi, that are really geared more towards dynamic poses, but they're kind of tricky and complicated to handle, just the way the joints are. But once you pull it off and you become pretty well proficient, you can make it look great. And then there's figures in between. There's SH Figuarts by Bandai that kind of focus more on like anime type figures, and some comic inspired ones. Then Mafex focuses on more kind of realistic, and they overlap, but some look better than others, right? So I'm just saying there's a range, right, for every type of collector who wants to collect or focus on a certain thing, whether it be tailoring, articulation, a certain IP. It's 1/12, and that was kind of missing in, not to the degree that it wasn't 1/12, but that was missing in 6 scale. And so all that to say, I appreciate now that we're having more lines come in and offer collectors a variety of what they want to focus on in art, again, being the premium quality. And now it seems like Hot Toys is like, oh, hey, there's a market for it. I'm sure we'll probably talk about it later on Venture. I don't know, but I'm referring to the Anakin, the rooted hair Anakin. So true. And so and I think Hot Toys was trying to do that recently, going back to Spider-Man 2099. They released it. A lot of people said it looks similar to Mondo. I think they were trying to do that as well, introduce different lines to collectors, and of course that got a huge backlash, as you know. But I think the more variety, the more options that we can get for 1/6 scale collectors, the better. And so long story short, I appreciate what In-Art is doing. I like him. I'm not looking actively in the market to get one now, but I may down the line, depending on what they do. So we'll see.
So what was your three kind of biggest, I'm saying IPs, but you can just say individual movies, or you can say franchises or IPs. What are your your kind of three big ones that you're like, I'm really into this?
Currently that I collect mostly.
Yep.
I would have to say probably the big two, Marvel and Star Wars for sure, right? Because I collect those at both scales. And what would be, I guess this kind of falls in Marvel, but I was gonna say, I don't know if movies would count. I would just say general movies. I'm looking right now because there's a lot of movie figures that I also have. Right? I think Marvel's like the umbrella term for Avengers, X-Men, all those, and then Star Wars covers a lot too. So I think those, and then I'll just use the umbrella term movies, right? Because there's a lot of figures that I have from movies and that I really connect with, that I really enjoyed growing up and currently.
Good stuff. So that kind of brings us on. So we've outlined say how you got started and the kind of past of your collection. So we're just going to move on to the present now. So again, I'm just going to throw a bunch of questions at you. Don't feel obliged to answer them all, but just to kind of get the ball rolling here. This is actually a good one to ask you. So a lot of the time I'm kind of speaking to people come on the show, they're purely 6 scale. Some people are purely Hot Toys. Some people might have quarter scale. Some people then have a mix of 6 quarter scale and statues or props, whatever. But so could you give us a whistle stop tour of your own collection? As in, so roughly how many 6 scale do you have? Do you collect any quarter scale? Are you into statues? I see that you've loads of different smaller scales in the back. Like I think maybe you've some carded figures over your left shoulder and stuff.
Yeah.
Could you just give us like a whistle stop tour to your collection at the moment? Like even like doesn't necessarily just have to be stuff that we can see, but maybe stuff you have in storage or anything like that. And how are you choosing to display?
Yeah, so I recently, within earlier this year, kind of rearranged some stuff in my room. There's other stuff on the other side that you guys can't see, but I built my own DIY, my garage shelf case, with the whole acrylic and all that, aka the Costa case. So I have that. Yeah. And so I know Mafia's not gonna like that one. So so now I'm like kind of going back and putting my figures in there because I had them and I was waiting to open them up until I had more room and try to be efficient with my space, and so I did that, and I'm going back. So it's Hot Toys, third party. I guess before I go too deep into it, I would say my collection is it varies. Like I was mentioning earlier, there's a variety. I would consider myself a really deep eclectic collector, right? Because I have a lot of different scales and IPs. And I think that kind of represents my taste in general. Again, these that you mentioned here, these are actually Disney Infinity figures. I bought them because they're on clearance. These are Star Wars figures based on the Star Wars Infinity game that ended up dying, but the figures themselves were pretty awesome. Here's Darth Maul.
Right. So it's I don't think I've ever heard of these before. Infinity series.
Yeah, Disney Infinity was a game where you can use these figures to kind of scan and interact with the game.
I get you.
Yeah. So I have those,
and you've got them all on like hooks there, yeah?
Yeah, they're just nails there, and I just have the the little hooks on the nail.
I like that. Do you remember? Can you remember when Mario had the entire wall of like carded figures on hooks? That was just I could have just stared at that for hours. That and his beard. It really just like it's just like. Beard. Yeah, the goddamn beard. He got him. I put up a video today, a kind of a skit video, and Mario got a mention in it, like to do with the N1. You can probably guess what it is, but I remember looking at that display, and I was like, that is classy. Like, I think he's changed it around. He's got modular cases now, and they're equally as classy or better. Like, but it's very very cool what he did. Mm-hmm. So you definitely like you're a different beast then, because like I find I have to go. You're collecting 6 scale, and you have a, there's a few quarter scale. That's it. Like, because like I did have 3 3/4 inch carded, and I sold a lot of them. I sold them all off to fund the hobby. I had like some other things like that.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Shane, if you're there, answer me. Blink twice. Shane, no. Or unless that's me. Can you guys hear me in the chat?
Did I glitch out?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. There you
sorry,
go.
Sorry, I blipped.
Right.
I blipped. I was saying like you're like a different beast, because like you have like you collect 6 scale, then you collect like carded figures, and you collect transform. That's a lot of scales. Where I find I'm like struggling like kind of to just I feel I have to just go 6 scale, few quarters, and that's it, or just. But how do you how do you balance that? Do you allocate certain funds for 1/12? Do you allocate certain funds for Transformers? Do you have an Excel sheet? How do you do that?
Yeah, I have an Excel sheet, but to be honest, kind of like I mentioned in my streams, apparently collecting, and we discussed this about balancing not only the hobby with life but finances, and I pretty much do the same what others do, right? I just make sure my bills, family stuff, all that stuff is paid first, right? And then of course plan ahead for anything else. That includes like any future retirement funds or just anything like that, right? Any necessities that I think, okay, those come first, those are important, I put money towards that. And then any fun money that I have, that's what I use. And again, I tried to be conscious, to be going back to being content with what you have and not trying to overspend, and thinking, okay, well, do I need this? If I don't buy this, then I can put it to something else. And so to answer your question, I don't have a particular like a fund or amount that I put aside. I'm just conscious with my money, right? And I feel like if I just keep an eye on it, and I feel like if it's going too much, then I'll kind of back down. And I got to be disciplined, right? That's another thing that we as collectors struggle to do.
I'm similar. I don't have an Excel sheet, but just general consciousness of
Yeah.
the money. Like I find, like, you know, if I'm saving X amount every 2 weeks and my bills are paid, whatever's left, that's mine. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. And no, just to clarify, I do have an Excel sheet, but it's not for like budgeting. It's more for like keeping track of an inventory of my figures, right? Just so I know, right? So I have that. But I kind of expand that to everything else, right? The whole saving and where I can save money, I expand it to everything else. For example, like energy, electricity usage, right? Or water usage. You know, if I cut back on something else, not just to save money so I can buy figures, but just in general, I use that mentality for everything else, right? If I try to buy things that are going to last long, right? Buy it for life type stuff. You know, if I don't use the AC during this time, I'm saving money on electricity just to go to stuff in general to fund other things, right? So I have that mentality on everything, not just, you know, the figures. And so that kind of adds to it. And sometimes that kind of gets hard to see, right? Because it's not all grouped together, and we don't see the long term, right, of the effects if we save something here and now. Like if 100%. I don't buy this,
the guy who taught me how to snowboard told me, like, sorry, it's a bit random, like, but he said, look, because I was using like rented and borrowed stuff at the time, and he gave me some stuff. He said, look, when you're buying your kit, he said, it's worth going the extra mile. He kind of said, if there's something you want and it's a bit more expensive, if you can afford it, he said, spend the money, but spend it once. So like if it's a choice between like getting a board that's, you know, $100 second hand, or pushing the boat out and going 3 and 4 and going, okay, I'm pushing the boat a bit more, but it's what you want, it's going to last longer. He was right, like, because even like some of my kit has been used a long time and I'm getting multiple seasons out of them, stuff like that, and some of the stuff's bet up, but it's still good, like, you know. So it's spend the money. It's like the buy nice or buy twice type of thing.
For sure. And I definitely I think I just learned that in general from my parents, and just we grew up, you know, poor. We were on welfare, well, that's what we call it here in the States. So, you know, we didn't have a lot of money to begin with, and I think that's where I was fortunate to develop those skills to do that. And you know, so that I try to carry that all the way through till now. And obviously now I'm splurging more for myself, because I think I put in the work. You know, I did everything I had to do to be fortunate enough to have the money to buy this stuff for myself, or for my kids too. It's not just for me. I buy stuff for my kids as well, and my wife, you know, she buys her stuff with her hobby. But it's kind of like, you know, everything I can, going back to research, I research to make sure, you know, is this going to be worth putting my money into? Goes similar to cars, right? Buying a good quality car that's reliable. I won't have to, you know, it's going to last me a while, keep up with the maintenance, so I save money on having to pay for something that's, you know, going to hurt me in the long run type of thing. Like all that stuff, it's all little, but it adds up, right? And we tend to forget, again, the bigger picture. You know, if we add up all those savings, that's going to, you know, come out to a lot in the end. So I know, again, sorry, long-winded question. I mean, I'll answer your question there.
No, it's
but
good.
I just try to save, and I keep an eye on my budget, and if I feel like it's getting too much, then I'll kind of back down, and I'll try to stay content with what I have. You know, for instance, again, Transformers.
That's the thing.
I'm thinking, you know, after I got all these, I was like, you know, I'm good at my Transformer collection. I don't need any more. I'm happy with those, and I don't think I've bought one since those.
What brand did you say they were?
This is Hasbro.
Hasbro,
these
yeah.
are Hasbro. These are from the War for Cybertron series.
Oh, right. I got you. That's the Netflix one, yeah?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I haven't watched that. I need to watch that. I'm every now and then I realize that I try to get an Apple TV. I was going to buy it the 80s, you know, the G1 cartoon, like. Yep. But then it wasn't there, and I wasn't on any platforms I had, so just found it on YouTube. Someone had uploaded the entire thing on YouTube. Every now and then I'll just watch it. That scene where Prime lands at the start and sees like that they're taking a beating, and just like that song comes on, you know, you got the touch. That just brings me right back. And he drives down, runs over the few of them, transforms, and like boosts up and upside down, shoots a few of these guys. I was badass. Like, it still gets me. Like, you know, even like I saw that when I must have been like, I don't know, it's you're going back 30 plus years, but yeah.
That movie holds up, man. I have it on Blu-ray. It's a good one. It's a classic.
Yeah, good stuff. And even like the designs of say Galvatron and Cyclonus, and there's a real cool tone. You know, there's a real dark, ominous it's a strange like do 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 do, like a real throbbing. I'm not doing it right, but a really strange sound effect that kind of that plays anytime. What's I'm after drawing blank now. The huge planet eater.
Was it
I'm having a brain fart here.
the planet eater, right? You're talking about?
Yeah.
Is it Omicron? I'm blanking on it. Is it
I'm blanking as well.
I think it's Omicron or something like that. I think it's. Why am I blanking?
Yeah.
The
like chat Unicron. Thank you.
Unicron.
Sorry, I just had a brain fart. But yeah,
yep.
When Unicron is there, that if you just the soundtrack when he's on it is just it's really subtle, but it's dark, but it's bloody cool. Like so basically. You might have no interest in this next question, but I'm gonna chance it. Does this float your boat at all?
Oh yeah, yes sir, yes it does.
Talk.
Tickles my
Let's
fancy.
talk.
Yeah. All right. So, you want to go first? You want to splurge?
No, I want to listen.
Yeah, I love this movie. I think this is my top Predator movie. I would go this one, and then the original Predator would be my top two Predator movies, and I guess after that would be Predator 2, right? Predator 2, top 3. But yeah, this one was just it really struck me. I watched it multiple times within a week, I think, if not at 2 weeks, and I'm really looking forward to this. I was kind of Predators was one of those figures that I was looking back for Hot Toys, potentially considering buying backwards, but I know I've heard some things about they're not holding up that well, and some of them did, some of them didn't. So I'm glad that they're coming back to this, and this is one of the things I was waiting out for, and hoping they would do. So honestly, I wouldn't be mad if they just gave us the main female actress, the protagonist, and her brother, right? I'm sure they'll probably do a Predator 2, but let's just say worst case we just get the human characters. I wouldn't be mad at that because she was awesome, man. She was a badass. If she came with like her dog. As a side accessory that actually articulates, unlike what's his name from Einstein from Back to the Future, or
yeah.
But
the Hot Toys animals are hit and miss,
right?
Yeah. I'm looking to see how that Eagly turns out. From Peacemaker. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I think that has swappable wings, doesn't it? Like you can do the spread out wings or just like the tucked in wings, doesn't it? I
don't know. I can't even remember.
Okay, yeah. I think, let me know in the chat. But I think it did. Yeah, you're right.
So did you say your favorite Predator movie was the original, yeah?
No, this one.
Oh, this one's your favorite one?
Yeah,
oh,
barely.
Wow.
Yeah, this one barely pulled out. But they're really good, right? Because this one had more. I don't know. This one, don't get me wrong. The original one is always going to, hold a place in my heart. That's why it's ranked number 2 and close behind this one. But this one just had like not only... There was also like a story behind it, whereas the original one, in my opinion, didn't really have much of a story. They were just kind of trying to survive, right? They were went in to investigate, right? I think it was like a camper. What happened to like a team that was missing? Yeah. And but this one, there was more behind it, right? She was trying to prove herself. She was just coming up really strong power, female character. Just the storyline with it, in addition to everything else, and just how clever it was. I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't seen it, but yeah, just the design, the Predator design, it just was firing on all cylinders. Some of the CG may not have been as great, but it was just I just really connected with this movie. This was awesome.
I really liked it. Kind of came out of nowhere, like, because a lot of the time these kind of not remakes, reboots maybe. Yeah, they kind of fall flat a lot of the time. Some of them are gems, like essentially, the Dark Knight trilogy was a reboot. Yeah. Absolute gem. The 5 Daniel Craig Bond movies, that Casino Royale, that was rock and roll, man. That was proper reboot. But this, I think I went in going, okay, like the first Predator is my favorite. Yeah. But this is my second favorite.
Understandable. Yeah.
And I think maybe Predator 2 would be my third, and then Alien versus Predator, like, I'm a bigger Alien fan than Predator, but I just thought, oh, come on, these are movies designed at like 14-year-old boys to give me a bit of brain candy. Like, I like the eye candy, I want the action, but I need a bit of brain candy. Like, you take a movie like The Matrix, that has the full, it's firing all cylinders for me. You've got the special effects, you got the action, you've got the brain candy, it makes you think. I love it. But I really, really liked this. And you're right, it was a strong...
Oh, no. No, speaking of Matrix, Shane went in. Shane, come back. We're not done yet.
Am I back?
Yeah, you are.
Am I back?
Yeah, there you are. Yeah.
Gremlins, man.
Gremlins.
My Wi-Fi is kicking in and out. But I really, really liked this. And she was a very strong female character that didn't feel forced.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it was just very like... She was kind of... She was smarter than the male character.
I love that.
And you know what I liked as well? They didn't just put her into a straight up fist fight with the yoke, because that would have been ridiculous. There was a few parts where she got close and she took a few hits and stuff like that, but it wasn't like a straight up fist fight, because the thing was taking people apart. But she was quick, she was nimble, she was smart, she was skillful. I actually quite liked it. I really quite liked it.
Yeah,
and
same.
I'm at the opposite spectrum to you though, because I don't have the Predator in the collection. I hope if it says 1/6 scale collectible.
Yep.
But Hot Toys are, let's face it, when they release blogs on their official Instagram and Facebook, a lot of the time things get lost in translation, and there has been sentences that don't make sense, maybe because they don't directly translate from Chinese to English and stuff like that, they don't often make sense. So maybe that's just an omission. I wouldn't read too much into it. But if they do one, I do think they're actually going to do the Feral Predator, to be honest.
That's best case right there, and I would be really happy if they did. But caveat, obviously, hopefully it looks good, right? And it doesn't, it comes out to, I don't want to say meet our expectations, but it comes out well enough to where it does well. And the point. Oh, go ahead.
It just does say highly evolved creature on the little blog.
Oh, okay, I didn't
underneath.
catch that.
So
nice. All right, well, there we go.
That's possibly
promising.
But would this be? Did you hadn't worked backwards, and your patience might be rewarded here. So if you're comfortable having, well, this is your favorite movie out of the franchise, so this would be the Predator you'd want, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, it would be. So this movie was my favorite, but I like the design, but I like the design of the original one, if that makes sense. Like, that's my second favorite movie, the original Predator, but that design of that Predator, I think
No, that's a fair statement, yeah. If I could pick one, it would be literally just one. I don't need a Dutch, I don't need a Dylan or any of those boys. I just need the original Predator from the first one.
I agree.
But I think if it's a choice between the Feral Predator here, which is a brand new figure with brand new paint apps and technology, or the older one, which is probably dated, and I'm gonna pick the Feral Predator. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's assuming they don't remake the original one. And if we had to choose between the old original Predator and this new one, then I agree. But if they for some reason remade the original one and they 2.0 or whatever they're at, 3.0 now, and then kind of even footing there, I'd probably have to go with the original design on that one. But real quick to touch on what you were mentioning about the 1/6 wording here, I did catch that also, but I also noticed that they didn't include that in their League of Legends tees or their One Piece tees. It just said Hot Toys collectibles on that one, and so I wonder if this is intentional then, or then this was a typo and they just meant to have it similar to the One Piece and League of Legends tees, because this is the only one that says 1/6 of what they tease so far. So I don't know about that one. Interesting.
But if I'm thinking, like, do you know the way when you watch a movie and you really like it and you're like, okay, realistically, because I don't complete lines or anything like that. I think the only line that I would complete would be the Colonial Marines if they reboot with them from Aliens. I think that'd be the only line I'd be like, no, I owe it to myself. I got to complete that line. But otherwise, I'm a cherry picker. That's the type of collector I'm. But for this, the only figures I'd be like, I would get would be the Predator itself and Naru and the dog. I think that'd be a nice display. Pose them up next to each other. I think that'd be pretty damn cool with the face paint, if they got the hair right and stuff like that. If they got the dog right. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think those two would be. If they just came out with the Predator, I'd be concerned. But I wouldn't mind getting both of them. Naru, is that her name? Naru,
same in the Predator.
I went back and watched this again. When I saw this, I was like, yes, it's not Star Wars, it's not DC, and it's not
I know, right?
Marvel. And as much as like I have a bunch of figures behind me, but like not every MCU movie is an absolute banger. so therefore I don't need, you know, characters from
Yeah.
every single one. But these are so few and far between. I mean, RoboCop last year, that threw us like the mind started going crazy, you know. The Indiana Jones, you know, can we get this and that? But it's great. I like this. I like that they've done this. Hopefully we see this.
Yeah.
I just want to read this comment. Phil makes a great point. Being a Disney Plus release, I wasn't expecting a lot from it, and it really surprised me. That they were my thoughts exactly. They did say collectibles on the Ahsoka tease. Yeah, very, very observant. Absolutely did. And Michael clearly very, very excited about the possibility of aliens.
Yeah.
But I'd imagine we'll be waiting. So, moving into the future then, and this is kind of like, it can be the most exciting section, but it can also be the hardest section to talk about or anticipate, because we just don't know. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Just massive shout out to the 38 people who have taken the time out of their day to watch. Please subscribe to FEEZYS Figures. I'm just going to put his banner up there, so we'll leave that there. And the question I'm going to ask you is, I'll start off. Do you still see yourself collecting in 5 years' time?
I do.
Okay, that was very quick. What about 10 years' time? All going well?
You know, I was thinking about this earlier because I know there's one of the questions you ask, and I want to say yes because, you know, as I showed you earlier, they showed you all who are watching, I still have some of my figures from when I was a kid, right? And that's been more than like, you know, 10 years. That's like 30 plus. So I want to say, yeah, if I've done it for that long, I'm going to keep the trend going. I'm pretty sure I'll have, in some capacity, I'll be collecting still in like 10 plus years.
Good stuff. Now, the third part of that is like, you already know, you've answered my third part is like, you still see yourself collecting in some capacity until the end of your life. You might not always be on YouTube, or you might not always have the same amount of stuff, or maybe you focus on a line. But like, I suppose, how would you feel if you just sold off everything? That probably wouldn't sit right with you right now anyway.
No, you know, honestly, I've been thinking about it recently just because, you know, I think as in general, as we get older, you know, our tastes change, right? It just happens. And so, you know, again, going back to the Transformers, I was content with those. And I'm kind of feeling similar to Marvel Legends, right? I think I have I don't say all, but there's still some that come out that are awesome. And that kind of goes similar to other lines. There's some where I'm getting to a point where, like, you know, I'm content with what I have. I can stop collecting these or these line as figures. There may be some that come up that I wasn't anticipating. Again, you know, Prey for an example. I'm like, oh man, okay, I got to get that. But for the most part, I think my collection's starting to slow down. You know, and I'll make the best of it, right? I'll enjoy what I have. You know, once I have them all set up, I'm waiting till I get to that point where I can actually spend more time with them, because, you know, dad life and family and work and everything going on, I have to pick and choose where I spend my spare time, my free time. And so, you know, maybe when I get older, I'll have more time to come back to them, you know, play with them, pose them a little more. And then I've heard other people mention this, and it's probably the same for me, right? It's kind of like when you get to a point where you're no longer interested in a certain figure or certain figures, you know, maybe it is time to pass them on to somebody who may enjoy them, right? So then,
no, that's true. Yeah,
consider
you use your collection to fund your collection. I did it the other day. I obviously have stuff coming in. I was making space for stuff, and then at the same time I was kind of like, you know what? I haven't really done anything with that Mysterio since I bought him. I took him out, posed him up, and I just set and forget. And some figures are like that, but I still catch myself like admiring them. You know, there's certain figures that, because I've dialed the pose in, or maybe I don't want to, you know, wreck up part of the outfit, or just have it the way I want it, and that's the way I want it. I will still go mad. I like that pose. I love the little the head sculpt on it, or that little accessory, the way it's carrying that bag, or just I'll just stop and I'll catch my eye. And even though it's been like that for years, it was still. But I wasn't getting that from Mysterio, and I sold it on, and that's the dry powder then for the next thing or whatever, you know. And it happens.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what my thoughts exactly on. You know, if I get to that point where I just don't feel anything for a figure anymore, then I'll just either pass it on or pass on either to my son. Of course, primary is going to be my son or my daughter. See if they want it. Maybe hold on to it, or maybe I'll save it for them. And when they're older and they don't want it anymore, then I'll pass on to someone else who may enjoy it. You know, and that's from there I'll, either sell it or give it away, or I'll make sure it goes to a happy home, basically, kind of like Andy from Toy Story.
Yeah, that's good. Fair, yeah, absolutely. That's like it's a bit off topic, but it's like say, I don't know, clothes. Like if there's clothes that I don't wear anymore as I get older, or whatever, even though like say if they're like still in good shape, I cannot throw clothes out. I just think there's something wrong with it, especially if there's no holes in them and they're they're in good shape, and I just like launder them and then give them to charity, because someone might actually get the value out of that, especially if it's good quality stuff. You just maybe you're just too old to be wearing that or whatever. Yeah. or your taste change or something like that. Yeah. Or maybe whatever. Like, but I just find it's almost like sacrilegious to put stuff like that in the bin when there's charity out there screaming for clothes and stuff like that. But
no, yeah, we have that in common, Shane. There's a lot more in common than I realized. But yeah, same way. We donate every so often. Kids' clothes, same thing. Our clothes, and just anything else we can we pass it on, pay it forward. Yeah. Absolutely,
because it's especially now with sustainability and everything. Like, why wouldn't you? So
yeah.
So like, do you? This is like a quite fun question. I think people like answering this one. Like, if you like the whole title of the show, Visions. Like, if you have, what's your ultimate display room? What does your ultimate display room look like? Is it an infinity wall of Detolfs like Lael, or is it like custom made module cases, or is it like you mentioned Costa cases and garage racks, like for what is your ultimate display room, collection room, man cave look like?
Honestly, it's like, I know you can't see it everything, but it's what I'm in now. I would like to be a little bit bigger, because it was kind of like office size, and so in our house, and so I used it as my man cave, basically. So this is literally like my man cave. I'm in it. To my left, your right, I have my TV here, that I use for games, movies, separate from the living room, the main family room TV. I moved it in here when we got another one. So again, kind of being resourceful, going back to saving money, and that whole thing, not getting rid of stuff, and making the most, buy it for life type stuff. So I just moved it in here. I have a bunch of posters here on the wall. I have an arcade one up in here, my figures. This is I got a little like futon type thing that converts into a couch that converts into a bed type of thing, for guests if we ever need the room. But it's there. It's a little, I need to clean it up, so I'm still organizing. Like I mentioned, I'm still opening up figures and putting them where they need to be, reorganizing. But this would be it. I think for the most part, I have most of the stuff that I need in this room.
So you seem like you seem like a collector who's content with what he has.
Yeah, for the most part. Yep.
That's pretty damn cool.
Thanks, man.
So like, no problem. I'm gonna ask you a question now, just for fun. So like. It's this time of year, it's Toy Fair exclusive. Usually like would have seen the the kind of thing you put out with the, usually has like the the Chinese writing and stuff like this, and it's usually brightly colored, has Hot Toys, Secret Base, and you'd have like a list of you'd have an Iron Man, a Spider-Man, and one or two other figures if people want. But like around this time the Toy Fair exclusive usually come out. Is there anything like you can take this as seriously or as not seriously as you want? Is it maybe if you want to go, I think this is actually going to come, or just go, what I'd like to come? Just what do you think may arrive and be dropped? What are you anticipating or hoping for?
Yeah, that's a good question. I honestly haven't really thought about it too much. There's some Star Wars figures that I think, like others, have been anticipating that I would like to see come out, like that Kit Fisto. I would like some creatures, some more Star Wars creatures. I don't know if that's ever gonna come out, but it's been a while.
It's been in purgatory a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I know, right? But that
let
would
him
be
out.
Cool. Yeah, just let him go. Damn you. Yeah, I have. I'm still waiting for that indie, so I don't know if that counts, because that was, they teased that, but I don't think it's gone up for pre-order yet. It's kind of weird. So hopefully that comes out during this whole Sideshow Con thing. I'm sure it's gonna be soon, anytime now. But I don't think I've seen it unless they just posted it recently and I'm mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen it go up. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that, to tell you the truth, just because I haven't really thought about it too much. I kind of just, again, being content for the most part. If I see something that comes out that I'm like, oh man, that's awesome, I'll
Gotcha.
get that.
So you're not like actively pining for anything, like. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
There
yeah.
you go. There you go. Good stuff. So we're kind of coming to the end of it now, and obviously a massive thank you for joining us. So I finish all of these episodes with the question. So like, your house is on fire. Touch wood, this never happens. Everyone, your family, your loved ones, your pets and everything, all outside completely safe. And for some bizarre reason, you're in your collection room, you've got time to grab 3 1/6 scale figures. That's it. No vehicles, just 3 1/6 scale. What are they going to be? What are your 3 fire figures?
Okay, yeah, this one I was prepared for also. So it'd be Iron Man Battle Damage 85, Mando Luke,
Great,
and Into the Spider-Verse Miles. And so
nice, yeah, 3 fantastic figures.
Yeah, so long, short answer, right? Long answer. Into the Spider-Verse Miles, that's just a fun figure overall. I think that's just probably one of my, if not the figure of all time, 1/6 figure, just because, the again, articulation, the options, and just the bang for the buck. It was just a great figure all around. It's fun to play with, right? That's like the main thing. It's just fun, it being fun, and it looks great. It just ticked all the boxes. So I'm looking forward to this. I pre-ordered the Across the Spider-Verse Miles because I was already planning on getting 2 to have, both options, suit
that
and then
jacket.
Civilian
awesome.
clothes. Yeah, it does. So
yeah, I love it.
It was perfect timing. Like, oh, well, I'll just get the new one then, and then do that. So that Battle Damage 85, iconic scene, right? As I'm sure you know, it's just from Endgame, just the culmination of everything. It's just, I think that goes beyond more than just the figure itself. For me, it was really
just on that. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I'm getting into the fusion reactors and lighting stuff up.
Yeah,
and I ordered a kit for the Battle Damage Mark 85. I've yet to install it, but I just think that's going to set it off. Can you imagine having Tony pose there with the gauntlet up and everything?
Yeah,
on? Like that's
awesome.
There'll be a short within the next few weeks, but sorry to interrupt you.
No worries. Real quick on that, you've done one before, a couple, right? On that, gotten that done, the fusion reactors.
Yeah, I ordered them from it's Fusion Reactors on Instagram, and he ships from Australia, so he has them basically all. They're wired up with dummy batteries. You know, a normal Iron Man, you put like 3 little batteries in the head and 3 little batteries in the chest and 3 little batteries each arm, and you spend 45 minutes of your life installing them and then they die. So what he has is like, it's one wire, there's USB, a wire, and then the wire splits into 4 wires, one for each dummy battery that goes in. And so you just put them in as if they're the batteries, and then just like, try to hide the wires and stuff like that and plug into USB. So it's pretty sweet. Now I've got the Iron Man Mark 6 and the War Machine Mark 1, they're fusioned up and just a really nice centerpiece. And then I've got the so you can probably barely make it out there, but the DX13 Terminator Eye is actually on. So
okay. Awesome.
Yeah, it's very, very, very slight, but it's just it's a little thing, but because of an iconic character like that, I just get a kick every time I put the app on my phone, and just like I just really like, one of the things that I wanted to do like a long time ago, I didn't actually think I'd get to the stage, was just be able to come in and just on the smart plug, just kind of come in, and as I'm walking in, just so everything comes on, the Luke lights, the sabers and everything. So all the shorts are up there, but Fusion Reactors are the guys who sell the kit. But like a lot of people make their own, which is cheaper if you have the abilities to do that, and you can make the dummy batteries and stuff like that. It'll be cheaper as well, and I must actually start doing that or attempt to try and do that. But
what's been your experience with them? Have you enjoyed them? They're okay, holding up okay?
Like I had an issue with like the last order. I ordered them two as like a test, and like they popped in fine, and then like I had to hide the wire, like around the wire behind them. You can see that it's about a few inches of wire, but then I cable tied, because the D-tops have grey metal frame. Yeah. So I put the wire to the back right corner, and then use grey cable ties that actually come with the Luke lights, and ran the wire down the back so you can't see that, so it's not like a wire fest, you know. and it drilled a hole in the bottom of the DTOF and fed the USB through there, and there's a USB hub underneath you can't see. Then like I quite liked them, and I did no problem at all with them. And then I was like, right, they're good. So I ordered like a kit for Cable's Eye, the DX13's Eye, the Battle Damage Mark 85, and the Mark 47. Now I haven't installed the Battle Damage Mark 85 with a 47, but when I ordered the DX13, the dummy battery was a little too big.
Yeah,
and it actually broke trying to install it, and the same as the cable. So I was like, all right, this is not cool. But email or hit up the guy on Instagram, showed him the pictures, explained what happened, and he was like, don't worry, ship me out a replacement. Like, and Calvin,
that's awesome.
low key collector, deals with the same guy, and he said he had a similar experience with one thing. The guy straight away, no problem, shipped him out. So like,
that's awesome.
You know that, yeah. So like, it was worth the wait. The DX13 I looks great. So I just have to wire up the other ones. I just haven't got around to them yet. But
gotcha.
yeah,
I have to hit you up on that
yeah.
later to get
yeah,
some more
no
info
problem.
on
Yeah,
that.
I can send you on the link. But
Yeah.
So Miles, Battle Damage 85, and there was the last one you were about to talk about.
Yeah. So Mando Luke, the closest without buying backwards that I'm going to get to Return of the Jedi Luke, because that's my all-time favorite Star Wars movie. Shout out to Ben, Attention Seeking Geek, because I know that's his also. We kind of share that one. So similar to him, when I was younger, that's one of the ones I would watch a lot. On the cable company, they would play it on TBS or TNT. Every Saturday or so. We ended up recording it on VHS. Yep,
nice.
VHS, and then infinite replayability for me. So yeah, I was one of the ones I just was watching, and that one just stuck with me, and so that was one for sure I was anticipating for a while. When I, like most people who saw his appearance, when his return, quote unquote, I'll try not to spoil anything, although it's been out for a while, but when I saw him again,
I think you're good on that one. But I think you're good on that.
Yeah, when his appearance in Mando, I was just like, oh, it got me right here. I had to do one of these numbers, tear, and
they did it right. They
did, yeah. I was totally like out of left field, and I had no idea, and it was awesome. And so, then I started getting hope that, no pun intended, hope that he would.
I like it.
Hot Toys would make a figure of him. They did, and of course I pre-ordered it, and I just got it recently. I think last month, and I love it. Although it's not technically accurate to Return of the Jedi, I know he has like the vest in Return of the Jedi, and in Mando he didn't. But it's all black. Again, being content with that. I don't even know if we'll get what would be a 2 or 3.0 Return of the Jedi Luke. So I don't know, but it's. Depending on if they do and how well that comes, I might get that one instead. But this is, good enough for me.
I'll add another reason to that. I completely agree with everything you said. Like, I mean, my favorite looks for Luke are the Snowspeeder or X-Wing, either one, the Bespin, and then the Return to Jedi. And I just love that Return to Jedi look. He was just my English teacher used to say, when you're writing, show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Don't say the main character is strong. Write about him, kicking the crap out of someone or whatever. Like, so
he is good. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a good man. So when Luke came in and just like, in the barely with nothing, just pushed the 2 Gamorrean guards aside with the Force, it was just like, all right, it's on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like with the Luke, because there's so many good Lukes coming out, I have decided that if they do Return to Jedi 40th Luke, I more than likely won't get it, because the Mando Luke kind of scratches 2 itches.
Yeah.
I don't think I could justify getting a 4th Luke. It's just, for me, it's a bit overkill, so I was on track to owning like 9 Spider-Mans. I was like, no, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, so I had to take a few things, and there's no but
discipline.
Yeah, because that's not disciplined at all. Like, I don't, just for the chat, I do not own 9 Spider-Mans, but I was looking at ones, they're on the wish list. I was like, okay, come on, something has to give here. Cop yourself on. But thanks a million for joining us. I'm going to let you go, because we're going to see each other again in an hour and a half on the Ben Thomas show.
Yep.
So, do you have anything you want to plug? I've got your, obviously, I'm telling everyone here, please subscribe to FEEZYS Figures on YouTube and follow at FEEZYS Figures on Instagram. Is there anything you want to plug? What's coming up on your channel?
No, nothing honestly coming up. I know I haven't. My channel's kind of lacking, but like I mentioned on other streams, I've kind of when I feel like an itching to get something, or when I get the time, I'll put out a video. It's not. This is kind of, again, another hobby, so I do it when I can, basically. But it's not a priority for me. So I apologize for the lack of content on my end, but thank you for those who are already subscribed, who will subscribe. I thank you in advance. Just appreciate all the support, and I will put those out when I can. So yeah, apparently collecting, how you figure. I know I have a couple episodes of that, but that's just kind of one of those spontaneous things that come up. I'm looking to start I just need to get on it, create. I already made it. I just have to start making all the backgrounds and banners for FEEZYS Media, another channel where I just talk about movies, video games, cool. TV shows, other hobbies and passions in my life, right? So I'm gonna have that separate. I just, again, not a high priority, but it's coming. I just want to discuss all that stuff that I enjoy with you all, fellow enthusiasts. And so I would say just keep out, be on the lookout for the socials, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and thank you again for the support. Thank you for having me on, Shane. I appreciate the sandwiches and the snacks you had for me in the waiting room back there. Those were good. So no, but thank you for having me on and reaching out. I'm always appreciative when people reach out and
no problem, man. It's thanks for coming on and making the time. These one-to-ones, it's a great way of getting to know someone, and then it's like, the next time we're on, like, say, even like tonight or Ben Thomas, or on a different show, it's just like, oh yeah, I know Jay, it's cool. Just shout out to Shiny. This guy, his wit never turns off. Squeaky. He watches Oppenheimer once, and all of a sudden he's linking us to fusion reactors. This guy's brain is like, I think, 2 steps ahead of the rest of us. Tragedy Tales, any link to the next stream on the Ben Thomas show, I have linked it just underneath. And so we're pretty much ready to go. So if you what's coming up on the channel tomorrow, I've got episode 10 of the Hope Show, so that is going to be up on the channel. We're going to be live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 3 p.m. New York time or Eastern Time, and midday at West Coast. So there's that, and tomorrow I'm trying to dedicate tomorrow to making reviews, because I need to review. If Cad Bane comes in, I will review him, but he probably won't be in tomorrow. But I will be reviewing the Besman Luke, and I'm going to be unboxing Arthur Shelby. I'm going to review the 2 of them in the one review, and I might take a crack at the Quarter-Scale Dark Knight, which came in. I love it, nice, but it is not perfect. It is not perfect. Those ankles, they're not good. But I'll get over it, because the rest of it is pretty damn spectacular. But right, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you very much, Jay, and we'll see you probably in about an hour and a half over there on the Ben Thomas show. One of my favorite shows to guest on, actually. Yeah, we'll be. See you, folks. Nuts. Yeah, exactly. Let's get nuts. That's exactly it. Yeah, it's gonna be wild over there. Yeah. See you, folks.